When people hear the word economics, they probably think back to a high school or college econ course that went something like this.
In 1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the... Anyone?
But in the next couple of minutes, I'd like to explain in as painless as a way possible two economic principles: opportunity cost and comparative advantage. First, let's start with opportunity cost. Let's face it, every decision you make has a cost. Even sleep has a cost. And while your decision may not have a monetary value associated with it, every decision has its own opportunity cost. American economist David R. Henderson put it best when he wrote, "If you spend time and money going to a movie, you cannot spend that time at home reading a book, and you cannot spend the money on something else." In other words, by choosing one course of action, you give up every other course of action you could have taken. And as a nation, we're confronted by this idea all the time. To illustrate, let's say this pile of Legos represents the United States resources. With these resources, there's a limited amount of goods that can be produced. If we dedicated all of our resources to manufacturing one good, we could produce, say, either 36 Lego cars or 18 Lego planes. Adding this information to a table can help us calculate the opportunity cost for both cars and planes. But don't worry, the math is simple. To find the opportunity cost of producing one plane, we divide what we give up by what we will produce. In this case, 36 cars by 18 planes. So one plane costs 2 cars to produce. In other words, we give up 2 Lego cars for every 1 Lego plane we produce. So what's the opportunity cost of producing one car? Well, divide what we give up, 18 planes, by what we will produce, 36 cars, to get 1/2. So it costs 1/2 a plane to produce a car. Now let's introduce another country and its opportunity cost for producing the same 2 goods to learn about comparative advantage. Looking at each category, we see who has a comparative advantage. The US has the comparative advantage for planes. It only costs the US 2 Lego cars to produce 1 Lego plane, while it costs Denmark 3 Lego cars. The US gives up less to produce a plane compared to Denmark. So we can conclude the US has a comparative advantage in making Lego airplanes. On the other hand, Denmark has a comparative advantage for making cars. Comparative advantage explains why different products come from different countries. And this is a key point. A comparative advantage gives countries an incentive to trade. By trading, both countries gain more of what they want without having to produce all of their wants. And while we've only talked about countries in this example, it's equally applicable to businesses and individuals alike. I hope over the last few minutes you recognized economics applies to you. And I hope next time you're about to make a decision, you stop and ask yourself, what's the opportunity cost for this decision? Or maybe the next time you're in line at Walmart, you remember the countless individuals and their comparative advantage that made your shopping experience possible.